A dark and perhaps critical night in Israeli-Palestinian relations. After two Israeli brothers were murdered in a drive-by shooting by a Palestinian terrorist in the village of Huwara in the West Bank, a group of Israeli settlers went on a rampage in Huwara, setting homes, businesses and cars alight, injuring around 100 and killing one. Whilst many across the political spectrum have condemned the violence, including far-right ministers Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich, one member of the coalition, Knesset member Tzvika Fogel, has condoned it, empathising with the settlers over the government's handling of terror. But just because they are upset that the government isn't handling it the way they want it to, does that mean that these extremist settlers should take the law into their own hands? Is this something that the Netanyahu government can fix, or is this an innate fear or hatred that no government could fix? Would legalizing outposts, such as Evyatar, which settlers tried to reclaim today, help or exacerbate the problem? What's next after the Huwara riots?
So let's get to it. What's next after the Huwara riots? As always, we begin with our quick fire round, 30 seconds each to lay out your initial stance on the matter, and we'll pick up the conversation from there. So Daniella Weiss, please take the lead.
I think that the thing that matters most is who started with the whole thing. I think the murder of the two brothers, and then the murder of the two brothers, the two young brothers, the week before, and then another murder a few days before that. This caused a lot of pressure and a great demand on the government to accelerate means of tackling with a very big defense security problem.
Okay,
so,
we'll put a stop right here. Yeah, we will continue in a split second. We'll just finish our opening round. Ashraf, al-Ajrami, your 30 seconds are on.
I think this government will lead us to chaos and very violent circle, because this government tries to destroy the hope of peace, to have two-state solution by its de facto annexation and very violent declarations and statements from ministers of this government like Smotrich and Ben-Gvir and others. I think we are in a very bad situation.
Yeah, Ben-Dror Yemini, your thoughts?
Yeah, we cannot forget the fact that actually the Palestinians rejected any peace plan that was on the table in the last 25 years. They always said no. It does not in any way justify any pogrom on behalf of the settlers. It's not. It is condemned by most Israelis. And the big difference between the Israelis and the Palestinians is that Palestinians, generally speaking, celebrate when a Jew is killed. And the Jews do not celebrate. They condemn any kind of terror act by Jews.
Okay, and let's please feel free to interact from this point onwards. And Mr. al-Ajrami, I do want to begin with you before we dive in deeper into the Jewish side of the divide. You've mentioned your criticism over this current government, but let's be honest. In the previous government, we've seen Palestinian terror still very much present. Does it really matter for Palestinians whether the Prime Minister is Benjamin Netanyahu or Benny Gantz or Yair Lapid? If the National Security Minister is Itamar Ben-Gvir or someone else, will it change the Palestinian ways, so to speak?
I think all Israeli governments continue the occupation of the Palestinian people. Until we get rid of this occupation and have our freedom and independence, nothing can be changed on the ground. We are in conflict, we are in confrontation, we are in hostility. And I think not this government,
yes, but why did you always said no? You said no to Barak. You said no. You said no. You said no to Clinton proposal. You said no to everyone. Every proposal that was on the table, you said no.
It is not Ben-Dror. It is not right.
When did you say yes? When did you say yes to peace?
For independent Palestinian state on 1967
It was offered. It was offered to you. It was offered by Ehud Olmert. It was offered by Bill Clinton. You always said no.
There was no full secure solution. Even Olmert stopped the negotiation because there was a criminal fine against him, and he went to jail. He stopped the negotiation.
No. It's you find excuses. You find excuses. I'm sorry. You find excuses because
Mr. Olmert,
Abu Mazen declared.
He told me that if he had a few weeks, he can finalize agreement with President Mahmoud Abbas. That's
It's not
right.
true. It's not true. You told Olmert. I mean, it was Abu Mazen, not me. Abu Mazen said.
To early elections in Olmert period because Olmert was accused of a criminal file and
No. This is not the reason. Sorry. This is not the reason. It's not the reason. I'm sorry.
Give me one paper of the Israeli position. Give me any paper of official position of the Israeli.
Okay.
Give me
Here. First, I will not one. I'll give you more than one. I'll give you more than one. Ehud Barak.
Even like one paper. I want to see one official.
Yes. I'll give you. Ehud Barak proposed you in Camp David in 2000. At the end of 2000, it was Bill Clinton. Arafat came to the White House and said no. The Israeli government said yes. Ehud Olmert, it was Abu Mazen, not me, who said, I rejected in his voice. In his voice. Again, wait, I did not finish. No.
The West Bank territory. 90% no Palestinian can accept.
No.
Gentlemen,
it's not true. I'm sorry.
Of Palestinian people.
Gentlemen,
we cannot accept a place or an independent state less than the whole of the West Bank.
You received
Gentlemen,
it. You
obviously,
always rejected even the proposal of Obama. You said no.
No Israeli official position that give us 100% of the occupied territories. No,
gentlemen, obviously,
territories. No peace between the two sides.
Gentlemen, obviously disagreements over what happened until now. But let me ask you very simply, if at this point in time, Jerusalem and Ramallah wants to engage in peace talks, who is calling who? Benjamin Netanyahu calling Ramallah, who's picking up? Mahmoud Abbas, does he have legitimacy? And if Mahmoud Abbas is calling Benjamin Netanyahu have a government that can facilitate peace talks? If we're looking from this point onwards, any prospect of genuine contacts, even in genuine contacts, any contacts?
It's a good question. If I may answer, it's very simple. Unfortunately, this government continue with the settlements. Settlement is a kind of making the solution impossible. Settlement, it's one-state solution. One-state solution is the solution of the BDS. Unfortunately, the settlers push us to the one-state solution. It's the end of the Zionist vision. Unfortunately, I know that Daniella Weiss will be against what I'm saying now, but it's true. The settlements, it's one-state solution. End of Jewish and democratic state.
Daniella Weiss, you're listening to Ben-Dror Yemini. Is settlement expansion hindering any long-term solution, or is it the answer to terrorism?
Okay, as I'm limited to a telephone conversation because of some difficulties, some Eviatar to connect somehow, I'll try to explain it on the phone. It is very important for me to clarify that my attitude is a religious attitude. I relate to the place where I'm sitting here now with my friends in Eviatar as a biblical site that was given to the Jewish nation by God. And we are very close here to, they call it today Nablus, but it's not Neapolis, it's Shem. It's the biblical city of Shem, just as we are very much connected to Hebron and to Jerusalem and to Jericho. When this is the attitude I'm saying now to Dror, there cannot come anything negative from a natural connection between the Jewish nation and the Jewish land. So even if for a while things in your eyes seem blurred or different from modern thinking, I believe that as we go by our faith and by the Bible, things will soon show as positive.
Do you view the overnight events as befitting to the Bible?
I'm sorry that, my reaction was like as if I was laughing. It is to some extent ridiculous to see the how, as you defined it, the Huwara event.
Yeah.
As the beginning of the event. It started with a murder. The fact that it was brothers, after a week when two brothers were murdered and a series of murders, it affected emotionally. Now, the finger, the accusation is directed to the government, to Minister of Defense, and to Netanyahu. A prime minister is a privilege, but is also an obligation. Netanyahu and Gallant have to give me, as the head of a family, they have to give us security, 100% security. And when I go with my children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren on road 60, instead of feeling safe, I know it's a miracle
that you got home. Yeah. Daniella Weiss, we have to put a stop right here because we are taking a very quick break. But when we get back, we unpack further the Benjamin Netanyahu government policy or lack thereof when it comes to the West Bank. Welcome back to the summit. Thanks for staying with us. Still with us, of course, our dear panelists, Daniella Weiss, Ashraf al-Ajrami, and Ben-Dror Yemini. Thank you so very much for staying with us. We're also staying on topic, of course, but first, 24 News anchor and correspondent Hamdas Al-Hout is on the ground in the West Bank with the security and political fallout. Let's take a listen.
Clashes in Huwara continuing at this hour. The IDF, along with settlers, confronting Palestinians in a nearby village. We can actually hear some of those confrontations happening right behind us. The IDF ordering the closure of businesses like this one throughout the West Bank. Now, the opposition within the Israeli government is saying that Benjamin Netanyahu is completely losing a grip on his country. The labor leader, Merav Michaeli, calling for a Jewish power lawmaker to be indicted for incitement following his remarks hailing the torching of those houses in Huwara last night. We saw 35 homes completely destroyed, 40 of them partially destroyed, hundreds of cars, hundreds of injuries, even resulting in a death of one Palestinian. Now, the escalation of violence sure to continue as the holy month of Ramadan slowly approaches, and the Israeli government will really have to deal with the rift within the Israeli society with the judicial reforms, but also the continuing escalation in the West Bank.
So let's get to it. Will security bring the Benjamin Netanyahu government down? We once again begin with our quick fire round, 30 seconds each, and pick it up from there. Ben-Dror Yemini, please take the lead.
Yeah, just one thing about what Daniella Weiss said. I mean, pogrom is a shame. is a shame to Zionism, it's a shame to Judaism, it's a shame to everything. So there are no excuses. And terror, Palestinian terror, and killing of Jews is not an excuse for any kind of thing of that kind. No, it's not us. No, it's a shame. And it will just increase terror, it will just increase violence. We don't need it.
Yeah.
And I'm quite sorry that Daniella cannot simply condemn it. It's not our way.
Daniella Weiss, your 30 seconds are on.
I have a certain law. I identify with my own people. I identify with Jews. And when the enemy kills Jews, I think about the terrible tragedy of the parents who lost 2 sons in a second. I do not have room in my mind to identify with the enemy. I want the enemy to stop killing us. This is why I never condemn.
Okay.
I think about my own people
Okay.
and this specific situation. When day after day, even today, we heard
According to you, it's okay.
Yeah,
According to you,
Ben-Dror,
it's
let's
okay.
just-
Just it's okay that the Palestinians do not condemn the Palestinian terror according to your way of thinking. I think it's terrible. I think it's terrible.
Okay,
Let's go
let's just let Ashraf al-Ajrami have his own initial take, and we get back to the conversation.
They praise killing. I identify with the tragedy of my people. There's a big difference between that. I do not praise killers. I identify with the tragedies of parents who lose their children. And Ben-Dror, there is a big difference between the two things.
Okay, Ashraf, your opening remarks, and we will get back to our
Yes.
conversation.
I think that this lady and the national religious groups drive us to the religious war. There is no solution at all. When this government declared that the sole right on this land is for Jewish people, we are neglected totally. We are not existent totally. It means that Palestinians have just one thing to do, to fight against the Israeli state. This is what they offer for us. I am sorry to say that, but there's no other solution. If you deny our rights, if you kill our people every day, 11 people were killed in Nablus a few days ago, and 10 in Jenin, and 7 in Jericho. They are human beings, not just Jews, human beings. Palestinians are human beings. We are under occupation for more than 55 years. No one speak about removing the occupation, the unjust condition on our people. What do you want from us?
Daniella.
Israel,
Yeah, and
just one sentence.
please.
Israel is not killing Palestinians. Israel is killing terrorists. Don't terrorize. Don't terrorize us. Don't terrorize. Now, one more remark. It's not us. Sorry, let me tell you one sentence. No.
Gaza Strip, civilians,
Israelis accepted. The Israeli government accepted. Once Israeli
Gentlemen, we want to hear both of
Israeli.
you.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Israel accepted. No.
Gentlemen, we want to hear both of you, and it's difficult when you speak at the same time.
No, he doesn't let me. He doesn't let me respond.
Yeah.
Okay. Israel accepted. No.
No.
Can you let me?
Ashraf,
Can you
one
let me
second.
say one sentence? Israel accepted once and again the Palestinian right for self-determination. It's you that never accepted the right of Jews to self-determination. Let's make it clear.
Not
And
true.
the moment,
We
the
recognize
moment,
Israel.
the moment,
We recognize the Israeli-Oslo
the
agreement.
moment, no, you never did. No, you never did. You rejected any peace proposal. You rejected from
No, it's not
37
true.
to 47
The Israeli
and on.
government has no official paper to offer us to have a solution. You can give it to United States of America. You can give it to Europe. We want to see an official Israeli paper that said this is our map, these are our borders, and this is our solution for ending this conflict and occupation.
Even if there was a left-wing government, there will not be peace. Unfortunately, I'm saying it unfortunately because I'm willing for the two states for two people solution. You are speaking about two-state solution, not 2 states for 2 peoples, and the difference is huge. So you never accepted the existence of a Jewish state.
Let's allow Daniella Weiss to chime in as well, please. Yeah.
And this is Oslo agreement based off that we should have finally 2 states for 2 people.
Okay.
On
when it was on the table, you never accepted it. That's the fact. Unfortunately. Unfortunately.
Okay, gentlemen, let's allow Daniella Weiss to chime in as well, please, as we're nearing the end of our discussion. Daniella Weiss, you're hearing Ben-Dror Yemini and Ashraf al-Ajrami debating 1 state, 2 states. Who says yes? Who says no? For you were talking earlier about your different time perception, if you will. In a month from now, in a year from now, in 10 years from now, the West Bank looks like what exactly?
I think that between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea, there is room for 1 state for the Jews, a Jewish state for the Jews, and not 2 states. And the reason is because this is really the promised land. And I said
so Palestinians are to become citizens of this 1 state, Daniella Weiss?
No, by no means. The Arabs that are citizens in the small state of Israel are not loyal to the Knesset and are not loyal to the state. So they will be the Palestinian Authority, but no independent state. They can have elections in the Palestinian Authority, but not a state, by no means.
Okay, on that note, Daniella Weiss, Ashraf al-Ajrami, Ben-Dror Yemini, thank you very much for your time and insight tonight.